Hello, welcome to yet another episode where I shall be looking at the preparation and the proposed memorandum for the mathematical literacy paper 1 for the grade 11 November 2025. Okay, so the paper is out of 100 and the duration is 2 hours. So they're telling us that this paper has 4 questions and we need to answer all the questions. But we need to number everything according to the number string system, each question on a new page, show all calculations, calculator, indicate the units of measurements, everything is not drawn to scale. Okay, that's perfect. And then 1.1, they're telling us that the graph below indicates the leading athletes on Instagram worldwide, okay, as of September 2025 by followers in what? In millions, okay? So Cristiano Ronaldo is having 481.6 millions, El Messi 361.01, and so on and so forth. Then 1.1.1, identify the most popular athlete with the most followers in the world. So it's basically the C Ronaldo, okay? So that is C Ronaldo. And then 1.1.2, identify the fourth leading, okay? So with the fourth leading, remember if these data pieces are already arranged from the top to the lowest, okay? So this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and then number 4. So they're telling us that Neymar Jr. is the fourth leading. Okay, and then can we write in words the number of followers that K Mbappe have on Instagram? So K Mbappe is having 72.6 million followers, okay? So we know that 72.6, if you multiply this by 1 million, you're gonna end up with 726 and then the 5 zeros, meaning that it is 72. They want it in words. We're going to say it is 72 millions, okay? And then 600,000 followers. Okay, 72,600,000 followers. Okay, so that is how we would have expressed that in words. So 72,600,000 followers. All right, then 1.1.4, Cristiano Ronaldo was said to have 481.6 million followers, which is true. Can we write this in numerical form without the word million? So what we're going to do, we just multiply this 481.6, just multiply it by 1 million. Okay, so what does that become? It's a 481, and then we're going to have 600,000. Okay, so that is how we would have expressed that 1.1.4. And then 1.1.5, they're telling us that the latest 2025 studies showed that we have 2 billion active users on Instagram, okay? But Messi only has 361.01 million followers. Can we write the number of Messi's followers as a percentage of the total active? So 2 ways of doing this, okay? We can either change this 2 billion into millions, or we can change this 361.01 million into the normal format and then do the division, okay? So if I'm to convert, let's say this billion, the 2 billion into million, that's gonna be like 2,000 millions, okay? Then I'll just say it is 361.01 over 2,000 multiplied by 100. Okay, so if I follow this kind of format, 361.01, I'm dividing it by 2,000 and then times 100. This gives me 18.05%. Okay, so we said alternatively, if you change this number into millions, it's going to be a 361,010 and then the 3 zeros. Okay, and then we divide this by the 2 billion with the 9 zeros, and then you multiply it by 100. So let's try that and see if we're going to get the same answer, 361,010,000. We are dividing it by the 2 billion, 1, 2, okay, times 100. So I'm still getting the 18,05%. Okay, so that is question 1.1. So 1.2, they're telling us that from prime to NOx, Checkers launches new hydration drink. Okay, they're telling us that the NOx is 19 Rand 99 for just a 500 ml. But then this amount is inclusive of VAT. And then we have the prime, which is the 39.99 for 500 ml, which is also inclusive of VAT. They want us to write the acronym VAT in words. So we know that VAT stands for value added tax. Okay. Then 1.2.2, determine the difference in the price between the NOx 500 and then the prime 500 mils. So difference simply means subtraction. Okay. So the biggest price is 39.99. Okay, so we're going to say 39.99 minus the 19.99. So this gives me just the 20 rands. Okay, so the difference is 20 rands. Then what we need to do with the next question, they want us to calculate the amount to be paid for NOx before VAT was added. So since the 1999 is inclusive of VAT, we shall get the 1999 divided by 115, since VAT is 15%, and then multiply this by 100. So the cost price represents 100%, and then the VAT represents the 15%. So punching that into the calculator, okay, we're dividing by 115, and then we multiply by 100. That gives me 17 rands and 38 cents. Okay. Alternatively, one will just get the 19,99 divided by 1,15. This would give you the answer directly of the 17 rands, 38 cents. All right, 1.2.4. There are 5 different flavors of NOx energy drinks available in store. What is the probability that this person will choose the peach flavored drink? Write your answer as a decimal. Now we know that peach is just one of the 5, okay? So probability will be 1/5, but since they want it as a decimal, we know that will be equivalent to 0,2. Then 1.2.5, if he wants to buy 2 NOx energy drinks of each flavor, okay, how much will he pay in total? So regardless of the flavor that this person is going to use or buy, the price still stays the same, okay? So since one NOx energy drink is 19.99 and we are buying 2 for each flavor, and we have 5 flavors, which means he's going to buy 10 of them. So it's going to be 2 times 5 multiplied by the 19,99. So this is going to give us 199,90 cents. Okay, so that is how much he's going to spend on the energy drinks. All right, question number 2. Kim Kardashian, I like this paper. It's just all about celebrities. Ne? Kim Kardashian launches her new perfume. Okay, and then they're telling us that 100 mils are costing $599 at a 47% discount, which is exclusive of VAT. Okay, so they tell us that the 30 mils, the original price is $449, but the special price is $299. They are telling us that all 30 mil prices are VAT inclusive. Okay, Identify the discounted price for the 100 ml of the perfume, including the 47% discount. So we know that the $5.99 is the discounted price, okay? The discounted price for the 100 mils. And then 2.1.2, determine the amount discounted on the 30 mils of the perfume. Now, if the original is 449, but the special is 299, what is the difference? Okay, so the difference in the amounts will become the discount. So 599 minus 2, no, it's not 599, it's 449. Okay, so 449 minus 299. When I punch that into my calculator, what do we end up? Is it something like 150 rands? Okay, so that's 150. So this is the amount of discount that is obtained. Then 2.1.3, Simon buys a 30 ml of the perfume for the mother as a present. He claims that the percentage discount given is 33%, rounded off the nearest whole number. Can we verify whether this is correct? So since we know that the discount is 150 rands, for us to get the percentage, let me put it this side, okay? We're saying discount is 150. The original price is 449, okay? So percentage discount will be the discount amount divided by the original amount multiplied by 100. So that's going to be 150 divided by 449 times 100%. Okay, so when I punch this into my calculator, so 150 over 449, it's giving me a 33.41%. But then since they told us that this needs to be rounded off to the nearest whole number, which means it's approximately a 33%. So his claim, okay, his claim is valid. The claim is valid. Okay, so verify whether, so Simon is correct, claim is valid. Okay, then 2.1.4, show by means of calculation that the original price of the 100 meals is this much before the discount. So what we know, okay, if the cost price, remember this is VAT exclusive, and we are still, I think, dealing with the VAT exclusive, okay? So if the 47% is 599, I'll put it aside. So 599 at 47%. They want us to show that the original is 1130.19. Okay. So what we're going to do is subtract and say that what's 100 minus 47, which is a 53%. Okay, so we're going to say that if 53% is equivalent to 599, then how about 100%? How much will it be? Okay, I'll put here some unknown, maybe X. And then I'll have my 100 divided by 53 times the 599. Can say over 1. And then when I punch this into my calculator, okay, I end up with 1130.1886, which is the same as 19. Okay, so that is how we would have showed how this price before the discount was obtained. Then 2.1.5, calculate the VAT amount payable on the 30 meals, okay, on the special price. So we know that the 30 meals already have the VAT within them, okay? So if the VAT is included and our focus is the special price, it's going to be the 299 divided by 1.15. Or remember we said 299 divided, wait a minute, they want the amount of VAT payable. Okay, so I'm going to say 115 multiplied by 15. Yeah, let me just use this straight away. So 299 divided by 115, because now I'm combining the cost price 100%, the VAT is 15. So everything is that. Alternatively, what you can do the comparison and tell us that if 299 is representing 115, then how about the 15%? And then you do the cross multiplication. So 15 over 299, then multiply by 115, which really doesn't bring out what I'm interested in. Okay, but if I continue with this, multiply by 15, meaning that 39 rands is what's going to be spent on the VAT for that. Then 2.1.6. Okay, so the other part of dividing by 1.15 was just going to take us back to the original cost price, and then you calculate 15% of that price, which will give you the 39. And then 2.1.6, Simon told the mother that if he buys 30 mils of perfume for the sister, auntie, as well as two nieces, he will end up saving 600 rands. Determine if Simon is correct by showing the calculations. Okay, so it's a 30 mil for the sister, number one, for the aunties, number two, and then the two nieces, which means he is buying 4 of the 30 mils. Okay, so let's see. If we look at the 4 perfumes, okay, with a 30 rand, that's gonna be 299. Okay, is it inclusive already? Yes, it's inclusive. So 299 times 4. Okay, so 299 times 4, which becomes 1196 rands. Okay, but before the special price, how much was the 30 rand? Okay, because I believe the question is targeting the special. It was 449. Okay, let's see. 449 times 2. Sorry, times 4. It's not times 2. Times 4. So 449 times 4 becomes 1,796. Okay. Then I need to do the subtraction of this amount for the original price and then the discounted price, which is going to be 1796. We are subtracting 1196. When you subtract that, you get a 600. Okay, so this is how much he saves by using the special of the 30 meals. So determine if Simon is correct. The conclusion is he is correct. Alternatively, what one would have done, remember the discount. Okay, how much was the discount that we saw? It was 150. And then what is 150 multiplied by 4? I think this would also give us the 600 straight away. But this marker location seems suspicious. But anyway, that's how I would have gone about that to confirm what the question wanted. Okay, then 2.2, Simon also loves to watch rugby with a friend Peter. He requested a bank statement via email from the 1st of November 2025 to the 12th of October 2025. He started the statement to see whether he will be able to visit the friend in Pretoria and then spoil him to go and watch the rugby at the Loftus and still have money left for the rest of November. So what we're seeing here is that so on the 1st of November, we have the balance brought forward to be this much. And then the same first, there was interest that was credited onto the account, okay, because of the balance that was there, okay. And then there was a check payment which was made to give us this as our closing balance. And then there was also a deposit EFT of an amount that is undisclosed to give us this much. And then there's a point of sell purchase of 1996. Okay, and then there was also a cash withdrawal of 3,000. Okay, then they're telling us get your ticket, a ticket pro, avoid disappointments, buy now. Okay, $6.99 for you to be in the main stand. Then explain the term credit in the context above. So in this case, we know that credit is the amount of money that is put into your account. Okay, so we're going to say amount of money that is put into the account, or the amount of money, the positive balance in the account. Okay. Then they want us to get the value of A and B. So for us to get A, okay, which is the credit, we can just subtract these balances. Okay. So that's going to be 14, okay, 825,36. And then I'm subtracting 11,825, that. So technically it looks like it's around about 3,000 if I'm to look at it nicely. 825,36. I'm subtracting 11,825,36. So that is 3,000 rands. Okay, so A is a 3,000 rands. Okay, then let's look at B. So with B, that is the closing balance. So meaning we're gonna get the 14, okay, 825,36. But since this is a debit, okay, we're going to subtract. Okay, so subtract 1996, someone's year of birth. All right, so we're saying that is 14,700. Whoa. Did I put the right things? We said 148. Okay, which means it's 12,000, not 14. Okay. So that is a 12,829,36. And then 2.2.3, Simon needs to buy the tickets in November for the 14th of December. The friend's birthday is on the 29th of November. Therefore, he will surprise him with the tickets and then a small get-together at a well-known restaurant where everyone joining will pay for themselves. However, Simon will pay for Peter. Okay, then you're telling us that Simon is planning on buying 2 tickets. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times the 699, because that's what they said. Okay. Calculated the traveling cost to be 800 in total. Okay. And then he wants to put away or save 1.9 for the small get together. So plus 1.9. Show by means of calculation that he will have this much left for the rest of the month. So let's multiply this and get to see what we have. So 699 times 2, that's 1398. And then plus the 800 plus the 1.9. Okay. So we are adding 800 and then we are adding 1.9, which gives us 4,098. Okay, so this is how much he's spending. Then, how much was the closing balance here? It was 9829,36. So let's subtract that. So 9829,36. 29,36. Let's subtract how much he's gonna spend. And then let's see what we get afterwards. Okay, so this amount we are subtracting 9829,36. So I'm getting a 5731,36. So this is how much this guy is gonna be left with after spending or after saving or putting aside that money for the get together. All right, then question number 3. Are telling us that South Africa has experienced several severe weather events in the recent years, including heavy rains, flooding, as well as droughts. This table indicates the monthly rainfall and the number of rainy days per month for Johannesburg as well as Durban. Okay, so Durban, we're looking at January to December. Johannesburg, we're looking at that. These are basically the monthly rain in millimeters. And then how many days, okay, within the month. So 10 days for January, 10 days for December in Durban, and then all of that. Then 3.1.1, identify the month in which Johannesburg received the lowest monthly rainfall. Okay, so Johannesburg, the lowest is a 3, but the question wants the month. So that is July. Okay, it's not a Durban July, it's just the July. Then determine the city and the month with the highest number of rainy days. The city and the month. So we're seeing that Durban is going to win, okay, in this case, when it comes to the number of rainy days. But then they want the city and the month. So with Durban, the highest number of days is 12. Okay, so we're going to say that Durban and in November. Okay, so Durban, November. And then define the term modal value. So modal value is basically the value that appears the most. Okay, or the value that appears most often. Okay, that's another alternative. And then they want us to calculate the average monthly rainfall for Durban, rounded off to 2 decimal places. So average rainfall, monthly average for Durban. So meaning that we're going to have a 126, 142. So 126, 142 plus 120, 60, 120, 60, 39, 35, 39, 63, 84, 107, plus 117, then plus also 93. Everything must be divided by 12. Okay, so let me add up this and see. We're saying 93 plus 117 plus 107 plus 84 plus 63 plus 39 plus 35 plus another 39 plus 60 and then plus 120 plus 142 and then plus 126. We are dividing this by 12. I'm getting 85,416, which is the same as 85,12 millimeters. No, it's 42, not 1, 42 millimeters. Okay, so that is question 3.1.4. And 3.1.5, data handling consists of data handling cycle. In which step of data handling will we identify the mean, the mode, the median, also known as the measures of synchronous? Only write the appropriate later. Develop a question, no, that is the first step. Collect the data, nope. Arrange the data, nope. Summarize the data. This is correct. Okay, because representing and those ones come after. So D will be the best option. And then determine the probability of randomly selecting a month which has an even number for the number of rainy days in Johannesburg. Write your answer as a fraction. So we know that even numbers are basically the 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on. So we have 12 months, okay? And out of the 12 months, we need to find out how many months have what we call the even number of days, because that's what the question is talking about. So even numbers. Okay, so what we are saying is that we have day 1, which is odd. That's also odd, so meaning that the 6 is going to be number 1. And then 2 is going to be number 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, so if that is the case, okay, if that is the case, we have 5 numbers, then out of the 12, 5 numbers out of the 12. So we're going to say the probability is 5 out of 12. Okay, then write down as a ratio the monthly rainfall in August for Durban and then Johannesburg. So we're focusing on August. So Durban to Johannesburg, the monthly rainfall for August. So it's going to be 63 to 9. Okay, since it's Durban first. So 63.9, but they need the 1 for the side of Johannesburg. So divide by 9, divide by 9. So that's going to be 7 is to 1. Okay, so you divide both sides by 9. Then we move on. 3.2. Mr. Smith decided that making rain meters can be profitable. He decided to start making rain meters as seen in the picture below. Okay. And then they're telling us that the glass meters, 10 of is going to need 10 at 40 rands each. The steel stands will be 30 rand each. And then the starlings or the small bird, we need 20 of them for 20 rand each. Then Mr. Smith sells the rain meters for 180 each. Okay, then the table below represents his profits over the 8 months. Okay, so in the first month, it's 900, 1.8, 450, 5, and so on and so forth. Then 3.2.1, determine Mr. Smith's median profit. So for us to get the median, step number 1, we need to arrange the data from the smallest to the biggest, okay? The smallest number I'm seeing is a 450, followed by a 540. Then we have 2 720s. Okay, and then so this, and that, and that. And then we have 900. Then from 900, we have 1.350. Then we have 1.8. And then 3,150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so since there are 8, meaning that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two numbers will be in the middle. So it's going to be 720 plus 900 divided by 2. So if I punch this into the calculator, 720 plus 900 divided by 2, I end up with 810. So this is the median profit. Then calculate the cost price of 1 rain meter. Okay, so if we're focusing on each. So it's going to be 40 rand, okay, plus 30 plus 20. It's a 40 rand plus 30 plus 20. What does that give us? That's a 70, meaning that it's going to be 90 rands. And then calculate the range of the profit that is made over the 8 months. So range is the maximum minus the minimum. So the maximum is 3150, 3150 minus a 450. Okay, so 3150 minus 450 gives us 2.7. So the range is a 2.7. And then explain what the significance is of calculating the range when working with data. So what normally happens is that this range gives us just an estimate, okay, of what the lowest could be and what the highest could be, so that when you're doing your planning, you know that the minimum could be this, and then the maximum, it should be something of this value, so that when you're doing your planning, you don't get into overspending to make things that are very many or make very few things, okay? So number 1, we're going to say that it helps us to indicate how the data is spread, okay, how spread the data is. And then also it allows comparison. Okay, it allows comparison of what we call variability. And then lastly, it can also help us detect if there are any errors that were made based on that. Lastly, question 4, Mr. Dramin owns an internet cafe. He rents a copy machine for Canon company at a fixed cost of 1.6 every month, and then pays 30 cents for each copy made thereafter. He receives an income of 50 cents for each copy that was made. And then we have this. And then calculate the missing values of A and B. So we know that A is a total expense. Ne? So what's happening here? From the 1.6, they're adding a 600, but then these numbers are not in order. So let me start by creating an equation. So if I have a 1.6 plus, okay, that is going to be 1.6. Oh, wait a minute. This is 0, this is 2, 4, and 6. So meaning that A is going to be a 3.4 without necessarily coming into the equation part. Okay, so if it's a 3.4, then how about B? B is representing the amount, total income. Since every copy made is 50 cents, so it's going to be 0.50 multiplied by the 8,000. So looking at the order, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, this must be a 4,000. So B is going to be a 4,000, A is a 3.4. Okay, so that is how we would have approached that first part. Then we move on. We move on to 4.1.2. Write down the formula that can be used to calculate the expenses. So the expenses, remember, total cost will be the fixed cost plus the variable cost. So meaning that the total cost will be the fixed, which is the 1.6, plus the 30 cents, which is 0.3 multiplied by n, where n represents the number of copies that were made. Then what term can be used if Dramini or Mr. Dramini wants to indicate that his total income and the expenses are exactly the same? And after this point, he will be making profit. So that term is known as the break-even point. The break-even point. And then 4.1.4, Miss Williams wants to make 12,000 copies at the internet cafe. She stated that it's going to cost her 6,000 rands and that Mr. Dramin will make a profit of 2.4. We need to verify the claim. Now, by looking at the table, we already know that with 12,000, you need to pay 5.2. Okay, she stated that it will cost her 6,000 rands. But the information tells us that let's not look at Mr. Dramini's condition. Let me look at Miss Williams, okay? Because if Miss Williams is making 1.2, okay, it's going to be 1.2, oh, sorry, 12,000 multiplied by the 0.5. So 12,000 times 0.5, which is a 6,000. So Miss Williams is correct with the amount, okay? Now, how about Baba Dramini? Baba Dramini is gonna earn the 6,000, which is true. So let's look at Baba Dramini's profit. So the income is 6,000, but then the input or the expenses from the table is 5.2. Okay, so the difference should be something like 800 rands. Okay, this should be his profit. But then Miss Williams stated that yes, she spends this and that Mr. Dramini will make a profit of 2.4. Is that even correct? So let's 1.6 plus 0.3 times 12,000, 5.2. So Ma Williams is wrong. to think that Mr. Dramini is going to make a ridiculous profit of 2.4. So verify whether Ms. Williams is correct or not. So we're going to say that the claim is incorrect because yes, it's true. She pays the 6,000, but the profit is less. The profit is less than the 2.4. Okay, so that is how we would have turned Miss Williams against her own words. 4.1.5. Baba Dramini claims that if he offers a 5% discount for an order of 15,000 copies, he's going to receive an income of 7,125. Can we verify this? So let's go back to the cost formula and say that the 1.6 plus the 0.3 times 15,000. How much is this person gonna, let's see if he offers a 5% discount for this order, he will receive an income. So mainly our focus should be on the income part, not the total cost. We don't care about that. So 0.5 multiplied by 15,000. Okay. 0.5 times 15,000, it becomes 7.5. We said 7.5. Okay, so this is going to be the total income that he gets. Now, if he's offering a 5% discount, meaning that the customer must pay 95%. So let's see. What is 95% of 7.5? 95% of 7.5. So it's going to be 95 over 100 times 7.5. Okay, 0.95 times 7.5 gives me 7,125. So this is how much the client must pay. And it is what indeed they are telling us. So therefore, Mr. Dramini is always correct now. The claim is correct. Okay, so the 1.6 part is unnecessary for this question. So it's just getting the total earnings and then we get the discount amount. Okay, alternatively, somebody can get 5% of the 7.5 and then you subtract from the 7.5. You should get more or less the same thing. Then 4.2. Miss Williams is investigating two options of investing money. Number one, she wants to invest the 234,800. Okay, option one offers interest rate of this percent simple interest over 24 months. The second option offers her interest rate of 5% compound interest over the 2 years. By means of calculations, we must advise Mama Williams. So let's see if we're focusing on the simple interest. Okay. Simple interest, we know is given as the P times the I multiplied by the N. This is the interest. So meaning that our principal amount is 234,800 multiplied by the interest rate 5 over 100 for how many years? How many years are there in 24 months? So 24 divided by 12, which is 2 years. Okay, so let's see what we're going to get. 234,800 multiplied by 5%. Okay, I'm going to say 5 over 100, then multiplied by 2. So the interest amount I'm getting is 23,480. And then I must plus the 234,800. Okay, so 234,800. This gives me 258,280. So this is how much Mama Dramini, Miss Williams will have for simple interest. Now let's see with the compound interest how it's going to work. So with the compound interest, we're going to look at the first year. It's going to be 234,800 multiplied by 5 over 100. And then the answer I get, I must plus the 234,800. 800. Okay, so 234,800 multiplied by 5/100. Okay, and then I'm plussing 234,800. So this gives me 246,540. Okay, then I need to go to the second year. The second year is going to be the closing balance, which is the 246,540 multiplied by 5/100. I must plus now with a closing balance there, 246,540. Okay, then what I'm having is let's see, times 5/100. So I end up with a 258,867. So this is the final amount that will be in the account. Now remember that the simple interest is 258,280. Okay, and then the compound is 258,867. Okay, so these are two different amounts, meaning that the compound interest is the best option. Okay, calculate and advise which option will give her the best return. So therefore, we're saying Miss Williams, okay, Miss Williams must consider, okay, must use compound interest option, the compound interest option. Okay, because of the difference of how many runs? Round about 600 or 500. So, okay. So guys, that brings us to the end of this paper. I wish you guys all the best in your preparations. Let's meet when we're looking at paper 2. Bye-bye.